Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G. I'm going to do a quick beginner's guide to the Sniper Pro tool and the SPX Gex levels. If you've got yourself all set up, you have the gamma exposure levels here on your chart, and you have the Sniper Pro in the reversal setting. That's the default that it comes in. And in fact, it also comes with the aim signals on as well. So what you can see is with each one of these, we have a little dashboard up in the upper right-hand corner that shows you what settings you're currently running. You can turn that on or off, and you can also make it smaller. So for myself, it's all the way down here at the bottom on the gear icon. I like to make the dashboard size small just so it doesn't get in the way of things. But it shows you what settings are on and what sniper environment you're trading in, or you're setting that to trade in. And what I like to do when I first get this on my chart is go to this little gear icon right here and check out all the settings, right? And within those settings, we can make a bunch of changes. And the first thing I do is I come down to the aim settings for basic, and I turn off all the aim signals, right? It cleans it up a little bit and gives you a couple of, sometimes the aim signal will override a potential sell or buy signal. So I like to turn those off. In here we have a whole bunch of settings, but the main part that you're going to be using from day to day is this sniper settings right here. Okay, second one down. And in there, we can choose our sniper reversal, which is what it's set at to catch reversals to the downside and to the upside. This is more of a trend day where we're not going anywhere specific. We're just rolling up and rolling down, and we're catching those reversals, right? The trend up and trend down are a sniper 2.0. These are continuation type plays. So let's look at the trend up for right now, for today, because we're trading above VWAP right now and kind of trending in an upward direction. This is where we would look in the morning and say, okay, what is the VOLD doing? Is the VOLD and showing us, and the VIX and the advanced decline, that we might be having a trend up day? Let's not try and capture reversals on a trend up day. That's the great way to just get chopped up, right? So we can go and look at a trend up day, and it's going to give us signals for a continuation, right? So we're trending up, we've pulled back. We get this initial signal in the morning. That's a hard one because we're not sure we're in a trend up day, right? But then we start to see the market continue. We start to get more trend up type signals. And what we see from there is more signals to the long side here on a trend up day. It's a little crowded, but on a 2-minute, that's probably going to look a little bit better. And then you get this nice move. There's no signals. We get some consolidation. Get another good signal there for this move here, right? Then we get some pullback, no signals, and then we get another nice signal there. I took that one as I jumped on the mic, right? And we get a move there. And so what we're not trying to do in a trend day is on a normal sniper, this reversal is probably gonna show up. Let's take a look. So if I go back, sorry, that's not the right one. Go down here to the gear icon, and I go to my sniper reversal. Okay, so you look at this on a standardized day, right, where we're trying to play ranges. Here we get a signal right here, and yeah, you get a little bit of a rollover, but it doesn't really give you enough to then to then capture that 15 to 20%. Right, because we're kind of going sideways. That being said, I did play one earlier off of this signal on a scalper, and I did capture about 30% on this move. But if you're just doing reversals, you can get chopped up because this is going to start moving back up the other direction, right? And so being able to identify whether we're in a trend up or a trend down day, you can set those for trend up or trend down and only take those continuation style trades, and you're not going to get chopped up as much, right? So that's the benefit. The issue is you've got to find a way to identify whether you're in a trend up day and or down day. And to do that, we use things like the VOLD, the ticks, and the advanced decline to try and give us a little bit of a competitive advantage in determining whether we're in a trend up or a trend down day. A lot of times what I'll use is if we're continually above VWAP, like we are today, the trend up will work great. If we're continually below VWAP, the trend down will also work great. Where the standard reversal 1.0 setting works the best is when you're kind of crossing VWAP on a regular basis, then it works great, right? For beginners, my recommendation is to start with the sniper reversals, right? And you're going to get far less signals throughout the day. So you're not going to get caught trying to catch every signal and overtrade. Now the fourth setting, I guess it's the third setting, but Sniper 3.0 is a scalper, which means we're just trying to take quick hits both up and down throughout the day, and that's the scalper setting. And this is showing you all the signals, both up and down, and intermediary signals in between. This is a lot more noise, but once you get comfortable with how the settings work and which signals are going to be good and which signals are maybe just noise, this is the setting I prefer to have it on most days, just because it's going to give me trend up signals, it's going to give me trend down signals, it's going to give me the reversal signals all in one place. So this is a little bit more advanced setting, but I do like this one a lot once you're comfortable with the indicator. The things you can change in here are you can change all of these settings to fit your trading style. So you have your RSI length, RSI source. You can adjust those, and it'll give you either more or less signals. You can come in here and take smoothing off if you like. I don't like it that way. You can change your EMA lengths, your MACD sources, your smoothing, RSI lengths. There's a ton of settings in here that are going to give you slightly different signals, but I've found through the testing that I've done that the signals that it gives with the settings that are in the default tend to be the best for me. The only other places where you are going to potentially want to make changes are in this first setting here in your ready levels, your basic ready levels. Okay, this is your oversold and overbought RSI settings. And default setting is tight at 60 and 40. You can choose a moderate, which is a little bit wider, fewer signals when they're oversold and overbought, and classic, which is even wider, and you're going to get a lot fewer signals that way. So where it comes is tight. You can also set a custom if you prefer. And then also we have the little bit further down, the fire band preset. And what happens there on the fire band is you can choose how many signals you want to get. If you want a lot, this is called the sniper. So we have single shot, semi-auto, and auto, right? So you go to single shot, you're going to get far fewer signals. If you go semi-auto, let me scroll down here. Semi-auto, you're going to get a couple more signals. And then if you go auto, you get a lot more signals. Today's not the best example of that, just because you can see we got a couple more green signals down here because we're kind of trending and consolidating here. So on a day where you get a lot more movement, both up and down, it's going to give you a lot more signals. The setting for that on default is semi-auto, and that's the one I choose to use most of the time. You can also change colors, all that kind of stuff. A lot of places, a lot of things you can change. And what we're doing when we watch these is when we get into an oversold or an overbought position, the histogram color is dark, right? Or bright color. And then you'll get a signal, and then the histogram color will change. Sometimes that happens on the very same candle. Sometimes it happens one or two later. And that is your signal, is where you want to take either a put trade or a call trade. And the confirmation is the change in color of the histogram. There's also a setting in there that you can change in your ready visual mode. You can change it to be bright as ready or bright as fire, and it just reverses, right? So if you prefer to see the color change to a bright color when you're getting a confirmation, you can make that change, right? And then finally, if you like a more traditional, and I'm doing an air quote traditional right now, RSI, MACD type of indicator, you can choose to do this as a line chart. And this is what a lot of you are probably familiar with, that setting in a line chart, oversold, overbought. Here are your arrows, but I prefer the way the histogram looks and works, and so that's the one I choose to trade on. Now you'll see up here in the GEX levels, which we'll go over in another video, what we're looking for are reversal zones off of levels that make sense, that give us the best opportunity for success. So in this case, taking a long off of this VWAP area, that's a chart level, right? If we were to come into this call resistance level at 6,900 and we got a sniper signal for a reversal, that would be a good place to take a reversal. If we have a double top situation or a double bottom or a chart pattern, those are areas where I like to take a signal in terms of reversals, or if we push through a level and come back and retest it and get a sniper, like a sniper scalper signal, then that's a place to take it. The harder places to take these, and remember, this is just an indicator. It's not, every signal is not perfect. There has to be some confluence. It has to align with an area of potential reversal. Like, for instance, we're coming into right here, right? This is a double top on the SPX. So let me get this here, right? So we're into a double top area, and we're trying to fire. You saw it showed there a second ago. It was trying to fire a put signal. Now we're pushing up through, but that would have been, had that signal fired and the candle closed with the signal still intact, that would have been a valuable place to take one of these trades, right? So that's how we use the Sniper Pro and the GEX levels together on the SPX. You can trade the SPY with this because the SPX and XPY work in concert, and we're using 0 DTE trades at the money, and we're just simply buying and buying calls and puts for both up and down movement. So in the next video, we'll get into what 0 DTE options are and how they work. But that's the basics for the beginning of the Sniper program.